Back now to Washington, D.C., where President Trump is making changes with unprecedented speed. Elex, you spoke to one of President Trump's fiercest critics today, California's newest senator.
That's true. Donald Trump calls Adam Schiff pencil neck. The two of them have been going back and forth for years. Schiff was here watching his inauguration yesterday. We met up with Schiff inside of his office. This is the first time that he's done a TV interview inside this new office. It's an office once held by Kamala Harris and Barbara Boxer and LaFonza Butler, and Schiff just moving in there within the last few weeks or so. One of the big things is that Adam Schiff was pardoned by Joe Biden yesterday as a member of the January 6th committee. Biden said that Schiff didn't commit a crime. He was just worried that Trump would prosecute him in the future. Now, Schiff had been on our show, The Issue Is, warning not to do this, telling Joe Biden, I don't want a pardon, it's a bad precedent, and Biden did it anyways. Here's what Schiff had to say about the entire experience of Inauguration Day. What's it like for you to sit there and watch him be inaugurated?
Well, I'll have to admit, yesterday was rough in many ways. To sit in Statuary Hall, to see a president inaugurated who had incited a violent attack on that very building, and then later that day, watch him pardon 1,550 people that were involved in that attack on the Capitol, including something like 170 people who beat police officers and gouged them and bear sprayed them to give them pardons. That was tough, I think, a really bad moment for our democracy when you see those kind of pardons being issued, because what it says to other lawbreakers is if you commit violence on his behalf, there's a good chance that you may get off scot-free.
Meanwhile, you also got a pardon from President Biden, one that you didn't ask for. You've come on our show and said that it's not a good idea, don't do this, and yet he did it anyways. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I continue to think that it was unwise and unnecessary, and that it sets a bad precedent. And I think the pardons for the family members are even more serious of an issue, because I think we can now expect that Donald Trump will pardon his family members on the way out of office. And since he has just come into office, it kind of tells his family members they have carte blanche to do whatever they want, to cross whatever lines they want to cross, because they can expect a pardon on the way out the door. This was my concern, frankly, with the whole preemptive pardon idea. So I think it's a bad precedent. It is a response. I understand why President Biden did it. It's a response to completely improper threats by Trump to prosecute people for no reason except that he thinks they're political opponents, or he thinks they're effective, or whatever reason. So, you know, the origin of all this is the threats, the improper threats by Trump. But nevertheless, I don't think that should have been the response.
Why do you think President Biden didn't listen to you?
Well, I don't know. I never discussed it with him, so I really don't know. I suspect he thinks that the president will make good on his threats, President Trump will make good on his threats, and that regardless of what he might do in the pardon issue, Trump was going to do whatever he would do with his own pardons. I assume that was part of the reasoning.
Schiff's team says that he was not given a heads up that that pardon was in fact coming. When he's talking about the pardons for the family, not only did Joe Biden pardon his son, which we knew about a month ago, but on the way out the door, he pardoned his sister, his brother, and other family members. Again, Biden saying that they didn't commit any crimes, but preemptively pardoning them in case they were ever prosecuted. Marla, I found it pretty stunning, though, that what Adam Schiff just said there, basically slamming Joe Biden for creating a really bad precedent going forward.
Yeah, but not necessarily all that surprising, because he told you on your show that he didn't want it in the first place.
Indeed, and he did it anyways, and a lot of people warned him not to pardon his son, Hunter Biden, and he did that anyways. So Joe Biden, I guess with not a lot left to lose after 50 years in office and leaving with a 33% approval rating, kind of did whatever he wanted to do on the way out.
All right, more to come from you in Washington. Elex, thank you so much.